our behavior change replication project. Along with me, we also have...
Hi guys, my name's Haley.
Oh, my name's Tracy. Come up.
Hi, welcome to our behavior change replication project. Let's jump right into it. The original article discusses the effects of white noise played through headphones during 3 stages. Those 3 stages are off-task behavior, percentage of items completed, and the percentage of items completed correctly. The study included 3 participants with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which is called ADHD. Headphones and white noise assisted in decreasing off-task behavior relative to baseline, and headphones only, no white noise. Little to no change occurred in reference to academic responding across conditions with all participants. And that was our original article, the effects of white noise on off-task behavior and academic responding for children with ADHD.
Oh, okay. So for our first article for our literature review, it's titled, "Can Preference for Background Music Mediate the Irrelevant Sound Effect?" Research has shown that music has had a beneficial effect on cognition, and in the article by Furum and Bizard in 2011, researchers posed the question as to whether listening to preferred music has an effect. Extensive research has been conducted with music being played prior to completing a task, but this article is the first to explore effects of accuracy in task completion while simultaneously listening to more or less preferred music, as well as conditions with no music played. There were 25 participants in the study from an undergraduate program, and they all disliked thrash metal music. A repeated measure design was implemented, and participants were exposed to 5 different conditions. These conditions include a quiet condition, changing state speech condition, steady state speech condition, disliked music condition, and a preferred music condition. Participants were tasked with a memory recall task in each condition. And the results of this study, performance was best for quiet and steady state speech conditions, and likable music did not enhance memory recall abilities. The relevance of this article to our current study is there are benefits in enhancing cognition and links to auditory stimuli to increase task performance.
Okay, so in this article, reducing off-task behaviors in first graders with disabilities through an adaptation of the good behavior game. The article, in the article, to measure if an adaptation to a group-based contingency intervention known as the good behavior game led to decreases in off-task behavior for first grade students with disabilities during whole group instructions, and if the classroom teacher viewed the intervention positively. Social praise was used for positive reinforcement as well as points for their teams that were given in 3-minute intervals where all the participants in their team engaged in the expectations. Observations used to determine when the participants were off task. The results of the experiment indicated that off-task behaviors did decrease during the good behavior game, and the intervention was viewed positively. The method that was used was mixed method, single subject, quasi-experimental study in 3-minute intervals. Observations determined when off-task behavior occurred. An adaptation of the good behavior game intervention used during the whole group instruction as well. The results were the good behavior game helped facilitate a decrease in off-task behaviors. The good behavior game may improve on-task behaviors and learning outcomes for students who typically struggle in general education curriculum. The relevance was the good behavior game was used to decrease off-task behavior, and it was used in a school setting. I also did the next article, fixed time teacher attention to decrease off-task behaviors of typically developing third graders. In this article, it was indicated that the use of fixed time reinforcer delivery, non-contingent reinforcement with typically developing populations has been relatively rare in the behavioral literature. So this experiment was done to validate the effectiveness of fixed time teacher attention to reduce off-task behavior of 2 typically developing participants. The method used was 10-second partial intervals, and then the observers rotated observations between children, and it was done in an ABAB design. The results were immediate and sustained reduction of percentage in intervals. Results were maintained in other classrooms, and the findings indicated that the treatment was effective strategy for reducing off-task behavior. The relevance was it was used in a classroom setting, and it was also used to decrease off-task behavior.
And then the next article for the literature review is The Space Between the Notes, the Effects of Background Music on Student Focus. So this was a study that measured work productivity observed during social, motor, and academic skills with and without relaxing background music. This was done in the classroom with 61 students at an early childhood Montessori school. So the children were 3 to 6 years old. The data was collected for 6 months consecutively. It was 3 months consecutively with music and 6 without. The music used was like slow tempo, relaxing yoga, Pandora stations, different every day, but all relaxing. Their definition of productivity, work productivity in this case was touching or completing work and then looking at the paper, looking at the screen that they're working on. So that's how teachers collected data. And they also collected data on emotions that the students could introspectively provide. Also, the teachers use smiles to understand the emotions of the kids while they were doing their work. The results were that I have 2 graphs here. So with the background music, it's on top. So there was higher focused behaviors and way decreased unfocused behaviors with music. And then the graph on the bottom is the no background music present in the classroom. And you can see that there's way higher unfocused behaviors. And the focused behaviors were pretty consistent with background music and no background music. So it really did affect just the unfocused behaviors for the most part. The students were also interviewed on how they did, if they finished their work, and then teachers filled out questionnaires while the students were actually doing their work. Again, taking data on that, if they were smiling or if they were looking at their paper. And then the relevance to our current study is that it's measuring classroom on-topic and off-topic behavior, just like ours. And then it's using a type of sound, so it's not necessarily white noise, but it's music, so it's a type of sound, auditory stimuli. And then also in this article, productivity was measured by teachers, and in our article, off-topic behavior was measured by the teachers in the room.
An article that was a little bit, maybe a lot similar to the original article was called Music on Task Behaviors in Preschool Children with Autism Spectrum Disorder. The purpose of this study is to test the effectiveness of music with and without lyrics on children diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, ranging from ages 3 to 5. The study utilized a multiple baseline across all participants and task-oriented behaviors during individualized gross motor movement sessions. All sessions were videotaped in need of treatment fidelity and inter-observer agreement. So there were 5 children, 4 boys and 1 girl. They were all diagnosed with ASD. They were observed in a preschool, and an alternating treatment design was utilized pertaining music with lyrics and music without lyrics. The study was measured by the teachers. For all participants, music with lyrics plus instruction increased on-task behaviors to a greater extent than music without lyrics. All participants were observed in a gross motor setting by the teachers. The purpose of this study is to decrease off-task behavior while using headphones and white noise. White noise has an abundance of benefits. White noise may be very useful. White noise may be a very useful option for children with ADHD, being that it has no harmful side effects. It can be implemented at home and in the classroom setting. Implementation requires very little effort. It's very easy. And last but not least, white noise can create a relaxing environment that promotes focus and attention.
So I'm going to go over the methods section. First of all, we have our participants. Our participants included 4 male, our participants for our replication study include 4 female graduate level students from Ball State University between the ages of 22 and 47. All participants were enrolled in the same course for advanced applied behavioral analysis. The setting of the experiment was conducted remotely from each participant's home. Locations varied across the Pacific and Central time zones. In order to collect IOA data and collaborate, meetings via Google Meet were conducted, as well as video file sharing via YouTube. Materials necessary for this assignment include AirPods for all participants, access to the internet, webcam for recording, access to online meetings, and access to YouTube. The link that we used for our white noise, 15-second interval timers, and we all needed our coursework and all the relevant materials that go along with that, like our laptop, pens, paper, pencils, and then the data sheet that we use to collect data on Excel. So the behavior definition of off-task behavior is defined as looking away from relevant coursework on the computer screen or in a textbook for a duration of more than 5 seconds. Off-task behavior includes looking at a computer screen unrelated to coursework and talking to others in the environment for more than 5 seconds. Standing or walking while not attending to coursework is also defined as off-task behavior. So some non-examples include looking away from your textbook or a computer screen to sneeze, cough, or yawn, or if you're looking at your phone to do related coursework items.
And here's a sample of the white noise track that we used.
So for our method of data collection, we collected data on an Excel document. So in the first picture there, you can see that it's completely blank and it's separated into 60 intervals. Each interval is for 15 seconds. And then the data sheet to the right has like a color-coded system going. So the yellow means that you were on task and the red means that you were off task for that interval. We collected momentary time sampling data for this. So that means that at the end of the interval, if the participant was engaging in off-task behavior, this would be coded red. And if they were engaging in on-task behavior, this would be coded yellow. So the design of our experiment was a single subject research design with an ABCAC format. This design includes 2 baseline conditions, which is labeled A, a condition with headphones, which is labeled B, and this condition is just headphones, so no extra noise or anything like that. And the repeated condition of white noise is labeled C. The independent variable was the white noise intervention, and the dependent variable being tested was off-task behavior. All conditions required an observable or steady trend when conducting data analysis in order to progress on to the next phase. So in baseline, our baseline condition, participants collected off-task behavior without headphones or white noise being present. All materials mentioned in the previous slide were utilized. And during this phase, participants collected momentary time sampling data at the end of each interval. Each baseline condition was across 5 sessions for all participants, and there were no consequences delivered during baseline. For our treatment phase, each treatment phase was collected for a duration of 15 minutes as well, and also 5 data points were collected. Each phase was spaced out with 5 minutes. So if we collected data for 15 minutes, then we would take a break for 5 minutes and then collect the next session's worth of data. Treatment phases consisted of 5 sessions. During the B condition, participants utilized AirPods without sound. This condition was meant to be a noise canceling condition. However, not all participants owned noise canceling headphones that were identical. In order to control for any additional confounding variables, all participants used the same model of headphones. In treatment phase C, participants used AirPods and played white noise audio found on YouTube used in the original research study. This audio was linked in a project proposal document to ensure all participants listened to the same white noise. Sound level for all devices was also set identically at the halfway point on the volume indicator. Baseline and treatment phases, baseline and phase C were also repeated phases in the experiment. The repeated baseline and repeated treatment phase of C were done to ensure treatment fidelity and internal validity of the study. Okay, and then so for IOA, the data was collected using video sharing. So we all uploaded our videos to a document, which we first uploaded our videos onto YouTube. We each watched the videos and collected 20% of the data's IOA. And overall, our overall mean agreement was 100%. So that means that any sort of data that was collected from this experiment has the internal validity and treatment integrity. And then to ensure treatment fidelity and integrity, like I said, 20% of our data IOA was collected, and a second observer collected that IOA for us.
Okay, and this slide is our graphs from our data. In the first graph, it suggests a functional relationship between the dependent and the independent variable. In the second graph, it's harder to read because of the variability, the high variability in responding. And then in the last graph, it does show a decrease in off-task behavior. All 3 graphs indicate a decrease in off-task behavior. And this slide is our table graphs from our data with all the mean, median, and range in there. I don't know what else to say about those.
All right, and these are just a few limitations that we found while conducting this study. And some of these are for the original study and this study. Some of these are just for our study. So starting with data collection methods, we were unable to do live data collection like the article did. And so videos were used instead. There could have been a possible bias due to taking data on your own self. I would hope we didn't lie, but there could have been a possible bias. And also, results could have been a little bit skewed because all the participants were also the researchers, and we were all aware of the type of data being collected while we were doing our 15-minute videos. During the video collection, it was difficult to tell if somebody was really looking at coursework or on their phone or their computer. So it was hard kind of to do that during IOA. Also for me, myself, with the quality of video that I took, it was difficult for me to tell if I was on my coursework or on something else. So that was a limitation to our data collection. We did use IOA, so that probably almost eliminated the limitation of possible bias to taking data on ourselves, because we all got that 100%, so we all agreed that these off-topic behaviors were happening or not happening. And then next is environmental. So I don't know about everybody else, but for me, the home environment added a lot of distractions that the articles participants probably did not have because schools don't have these. We have pets and children and roommates, so that was a big limitation. And another environmental one is that a teacher or presence of an authority figure may have had an effect on the participants' behavior in the study. Like earlier, I had mentioned it was just the researchers, so this probably had a different effect on the results. And lastly, it was the internal validity limitations. It was difficult to measure the exact decibel of our white noise track. So we all did, like Anne said, put our volume halfway. But there's no saying, people's AirPod capacity for noise. Are they working correctly? Are the decibels same on people's devices? So that was one limitation. And then the other one was that it was difficult to confirm that each participant could use the same headphones with the same output of sound. So like I said, like AirPods have different sounds. And then we also couldn't get the noise canceling headphones that they use within the study. And then lastly, there are possible limitations to generalization outside of the school setting, but we'll talk about that a little bit more in the conclusion slide. All right, so there may have been a functional relationship between the presence of white noise and decreased off-topic behavior. It was a little bit hard to tell with our graphs. During our white noise tracks, all of our off-topic behaviors did decrease. I think 2 of our participants had 0 off-topic behaviors during that time. So it looks like there was a functional relationship. We would most likely just need more participants and probably more time to collect data to really put that into stone. And yeah, there were trends with the data, so it would be worth continued research. Next, I just wanted to talk about kind of the importance and the implications. So on-topic behavior is an important prerequisite skill to many skills taught in school, and even taught how we were doing it at home. So, if you're off topic at school, you're probably not learning. If you're off topic while you're doing your homework at home or your coursework, you're probably not learning as well. And then the important implications of the original study on the classroom environment or whatever setting you're in is that, if we can hopefully find a way for students to increase their on-topic behavior, even if it's, adults like us at home, that obviously is really important. And white noise is readily available. It can easily be added to classrooms or at home in our case to increase our on-topic behavior and just increase overall efficiency. The next part is just talking about more research that should be done. So I mentioned that more research would probably be great and more time for us to establish a functional relationship. But also we could do, so we could start with a larger sample size, eventually a larger population of different students, different ages, different settings, different sounds. It could be music, could be white noise, could be loud versus quiet. any kind of auditory stimuli we could think of to test. And then different settings with various definitions for on-topic behavior could increase generalizability. And these off-topic behaviors could include, I don't know, it could include studying or looking at screen or phone, how we did it. It could be traditional schoolwork, looking at your paper, looking at a chalkboard or a whiteboard now. It could be, are you on topic while you're cooking or playing a video game? It could be anything like that. So more research, this topic is very interesting, and there's a lot of ways that more research could be done. And overall, I think on-topic behavior is really important because, like we said, it's a prerequisite skill, and it's could affect efficiency overall for many people. And that's our presentation. Thank you for watching. Oh, and here's our references. All right, does everyone want to say bye?
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.